So you don't need to take notes unless you want to, because the
You're gonna
report
get
will
the
have in it
copy.
everything I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
And it'll illustrate everything clearly.
Okay.
Just so you know. I always start at the roof, and I start there because that's always people's biggest question.
Yes.
I don't really have any issues with the roof. It looks like it's about 12 years old. Based on the record, it's 12 years old. There's no visible evidence of a problem on the top.
Okay.
And accessible areas when you go through the attic. The plus is the shingles are wearing well. They're really good right now. In other words, when you walk, you don't feel it slippery at all underneath. Like it's not a lot of loose granulars or anything like that. So I think you're going to probably have about, I would say, 5 to 7, 6 to 8, maybe years left on it before you have to start thinking about replacing it.
Okay.
And that may be dictated more by the insurance company at some point than you. You know how they are.
Yes.
It's got a decent amount of life left on it from me to you. It looks good.
Okay.
The roof deck's superior, and I say that because back in the 70s, for a lot of the 70s and early 80s, they were using a 3/4 inch wood plank dimensional lumber instead of plywood.
Oh.
So when you stand on this thing, there's no give.
Oh, excellent.
So it's solid.
Okay.
All right,
Good to
and
know.
that wood looks good in accessible areas, and I would bet money, because I've seen enough of these houses, that even if you had a long-term leak at some point historically, it takes a long time for this wood to rot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not like plywood, or even worse, the compressed OSB stuff. I mean, this stands wetness pretty well. So right now it looks good. The attic's been re-insulated,
Okay.
probably about R30, give or take. Whatever was there before, I couldn't see it. So it depends on what the R value was and what the material was before. But it's above average for 1971, what's there now.
Okay.
And I don't know, did you update it?
Yeah, after we moved in, we had it sprayed in. I think it was like 10 inches or something.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's, yeah.
And what kind of a insulation is that?
It's fiberglass.
It's fiberglass.
It's the blown-in kind.
The blown-in kind fiberglass. Okay.
Yeah, and they did a good job. As far as the eye can see, it looks like Alaska up there. I mean, it's white insulation, so when you look across, I mean, you have the illusion of snow, even though you're sweating you know what off.
Yes.
It looks like up north, kind of.
Just as a side note, we actually had the block filled also.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Cool. If you have anything that you can give to them, like, 'cause I know
Okay.
companies sometimes they offer certain things in addition to, and I can't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So they would probably appreciate that. So as far as I'm concerned, roof and attic look good. I couldn't really look at the ductwork too much because what I had access to looks fine. But when you have new insulation, it covers a lot.
Yeah, I understand.
Now this house was also replumbed.
Yes.
I don't have a year on that, but I know it was. I see the pipes go up, main water valves in the inside garage wall on the left side, and then you follow it into the attic space, and I see where it goes mostly. The reason I didn't venture into the attic and actually do the crawl I normally would is because of the insulation. I don't want to step on this nice man's plumbing and then have him very upset at me.
Right, and then crack it or something. Yeah, I've got it.
Which I've actually done before, and you learn from experience.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's not fun to do something like that. And but I guess the point is it's updated insulation and also updated plumbing, which is good. The old plumbing was copper. At some point, if you move into a 71 house, you're going to have to face that.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, eventually, yes.
So right now you got the type of plumbing that they're putting in homes today, even new homes today, so you should be fine for a long time.
Okay.
Right?
Do you have any idea when that was done?
You know, I saw a date on one of the pipes, and I think it was like 97, I want to say.
Okay. All right.
It makes sense because I think the water heater went in.
Oh, so that was done before you guys were.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it was done before us on that.
Yeah, actually, that if I had a guess, that would be my guess too, because of the water heater date, age, and what you just said.
Yeah.
So they probably did the water heater and the plumbing at the same
At the
time.
same time.
And I think the AC is like about the same date also.
Yeah, it is. The AC unit is also around the same. The outside unit's 95, inside 96, so they probably did it right in 96. All right, so as far as I'm concerned, like with everything that's here, everything is working. You got an air conditioner that's cooling and heating. I tested both. Water heater is doing what it's supposed to do. Short-term budget for like appliances and stuff like that, I think you inevitably AC and water heater, I think is going to be.
It's going to have to be swift.
Yeah, and I would budget for that now. There's no way you can predict how long things will last.
Yes.
But from experience, I know that some brands of equipment last longer than others.
Right.
I think we were talking outside.
Right.
The Rheem is one of those things.
Yes, Rheem is good.
Hard to tell how long it will last. I opened it up. I looked at the coil. The coil looks fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they have someone out twice a year to just check it and maintain it, you may get a few more years left out of it, maybe even as much as 5. I don't know. But right now, it's doing what it's supposed to.
Okay.
The electrical The good news on the electrical stuff is the electrical panels were updated in 2013, both outside and inside. Both brands are good brands, General Electric. All the wiring that I have access to looks fine. I tested every receptacle in here and operated all the switches just to make sure. And I don't have any really major concerns on the switches or the receptacles or the wire material, the condition. Upgrades you can consider. You can consider upgrading outlets and bathrooms and kitchens to like ground fault protection, which wasn't required when this house was built.
Right.
Okay, so a lot of electrical changes happen. So if you talk to an electrician and they suggest it, weigh out the pros and cons, decide what you want to do. Right now, for the inspection I'm doing, that's fine. It's acceptable because it was built the way it was supposed to be built.
So that would just be the switches and that.
Yeah, these outlets like
the
by the
outlets
sink.
and switches and yeah, that's. I think I had that done to my house. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a definite advantage to those, and there's a disadvantage to those. They're for safety, improving safety, but you know, when they nuisance trip, they can be a problem.
Yes.
So you never know. You have to weigh it out personally. You can't tell you what to do there.
Okay.
Now, the one thing I do think you're going to probably look at as an obstacle, as far as a hurdle. I see all kinds of houses: bad condition, good condition, this condition, that condition. But I also look for like what might happen as you move forward. The house has aluminum single-strand wiring as your branch circuit wiring. It's not necessarily that that's bad. It's just that historically the expansion rate of that metal is higher than copper. So what happens is at all the terminal screws, it moves like this. And over time, the potential for loosening exists. So there's a safety concern there for fire safety because of an potential electrical arc, which is just a potential thing. It doesn't mean it will happen, it means it could happen.
Right.
Then the other side of this is the insurance carrier. In the insurance industry, the house is 30 years old or more. A lot of these companies ask for a 4-point report. When we produce that and that shows up on a 4-point report, they're going to recommend having the aluminum wiring service before they insure you, or they may insure you and give you a time certain to get it done within.
Okay.
To get it changed out.
Yeah, to get it changed out. Now, I know from experience the type of approved connectors that they use now are Alumicon. That's the most widely accepted repair for the aluminum wiring. You can do different methods, but I want to caution you to check with the insurance first, make sure what they will accept before you pay someone to do it.
Okay.
Because you don't want to pay them and find out your insurance carrier says, no, that's not what we wanted.
Okay.
All right, so the first step after this inspection is to talk to the insurance carrier or interview the ones you're going to be talking to, find out their policy on it so that as you guys move forward, you'll have it handled. It will be in the works for you to actually just seamlessly move on forward with it.
Okay.
Okay? Cost usually ranges. We have electricians that we network with, Renee does, and they'll get you estimates. But what they normally do is they'll count up all the junction boxes, switches, and outlets, including the attic space, which might be a little bit of a challenge, but they can do it by counting everything from down here. So they'll have a good idea
About what it would cost, an estimate.
and normally, from my experience, I have seen anywhere between $1,500 and $1,800 to as high as like $3,500, $4,000. It really depends on the size of the house, how many switches, the
Yeah,
company
because
you
we've
call.
seen a little higher actually, I think, on that, but
Yeah, it ranges a lot. It
Yeah.
really does. So you'll have to shop and find out like which one you're going to work with and who's going to get you a good number. Bottom line is if you do the Alumicon connectors, they got a good reputation. They're widely accepted. And then you can sleep at night, or they can sleep at night.
that's what I'm saying. It's kind of average, like 2,500, isn't it? Sort of average.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
25, 3,000, right?
The last one that I did was not too far from here, and it was around 1,800. And then I had done one about maybe 3 months ago, and it was close to 5,000. So you're right, median would be somewhere around 2,500
Okay.
on average.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Alumicon, and if you Google it, they'll pop right up.
Okay.
Very easy to spot. You know, and all you do is you pull out the receptacles to check. And I pulled out one to check to see if something was done. But then I what's your first name again?
Kevin.
I asked Kevin, just asked him because he's been here and he told me. So we know what the situation is, and
Okay.
that way everyone's open and honest and we know what we need to do. Because it's a structurally sound building with a lot of good upgrades, a lot of good potential. That's your only hurdle,
Okay.
in my mind anyway.
Okay. Alrighty. So I got it.
I didn't inspect the boat,
No.
just so you know. I
You're
didn't.
not leaving the boat though, I don't think.
No.
I did look
Aw,
at the pool a
shucks.
little bit.
Additional price maybe.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome, no problem.